Minutes away from the opening kickoff here at MetLife Stadium. Final Sunday in December. Final Sunday of the regular season. 49 degrees and cloudy. It rained earlier today in northern New Jersey. Down to the field at Tony Siragusa. Goose.
Thanks, Kenny. So as you mentioned, Kenny, it's the last game of the regular season, and it hasn't turned out as scripted. The Cowboys took the division, but this game is always an important one. It's for the I-95 corridor bragging rights. The Eagles on a 3-game skid and the Giants on a 3-game roll. Nobody's going to be laying down here today. Most of these teams have too much pride not to want to win today's game. I can remember as a young kid, my dad taking me to an Eagles-Giants game. And no matter what their record was, it was always a brawl. And that's exactly what I'm expecting here today.
All right, thanks, Goose. Chip Kelly's Eagles won the division at 10-6 last season. They will miss the playoffs this year, but would finish 10-6 with a win. Tom Coughlin wrapping up his 11th season as Giants head coach. Giants won the toss. Cody Parkey gets things started. Preston Parker takes a knee. So Eli Manning and the Giants offense will start at their 20-yard line. 167th consecutive start for Eli. Threw for a season-high 391 yards in the victory over the Rams last week.
And I think that really validates where they are offensively right now at this point at the end of the season. That was a good Rams defense coming off some really big performances, and this Giant offense absolutely shredded it.
Andre Williams in the backfield. Manning out of the shotgun on first down. And the catch is made out at the 25-yard line. 80th reception of the season for the rookie out of LSU, Odell Beckham Jr., as we check out the Giants' offensive line.
Yeah, and you really can't talk about the Giants' offense without really going to Odell Beckham Jr. He's really kind of elevated this whole group, created a spark for this offense.
118, 2nd and 5 from the 25. This is Williams, the rookie out of Boston College, gains 4, setting up a 3rd down and 1.
And Fletcher Cox is a guy who I thought really should have garnered some Pro Bowl attention, not as much as I thought he would have. He's really been one of the real important guys for this Philadelphia defense, and Nolan Carroll gets the start over Bradley Fletcher, who's inactive today. So we'll see what kind of impact that has on the outside in the passing game.
3rd down and 1 for the Giants. And this is Williams. He picks up a 1st down. Out to the 38. So the Giants leading rusher and leading receiver this season, both rookies. We saw Beckham on the first play from scrimmage, and now 2 carries for Andre Williams. Giants ranked 12th offensively up against the 25th ranked Eagles defense.
Well, that talks about some of those growing pains we talked about through the course of the year. Some young guys forced to step up and produce early for this Giant team.
Preston Parker motions to the slot. 1st and 10, 38-yard line. Manning with time. Now he fires downfield. And the catch is made by Ruben Randall inside the Eagles' 20-yard line. 43-yard pass play.
How about the coverage on him, Darryl?
Well, you know, this is one of the things that Philadelphia fans have to understand. What does Bill Davis have to do with this play? I mean, there's Eli Manning standing in the pocket. This is double coverage on a vertical route. Nate Allen is running stride for stride. Nolan Carroll is running stride for stride, but they don't have their eyes back on the football. And Ruben Randall picking up right where he left off last week against the Rams.
Eagles have allowed the most big plays, 20-plus passing plays this season. It is Randall again, down to the 1.
This offense is just clicking today. Has been for the last 4 weeks.
And Ruben Randall is really starting to emerge. You know, a guy who's really kind of struggled throughout his career, really kind of had that breakthrough game, had to be sat down against Jacksonville.
Andre Williams takes the handoff from Manning and is in for the Giants touchdown.
Really like the pace of the opening series by the Giants. Just some good, efficient play calling. You get Eli Manning into that rhythm. I love the confidence to take the shot down the field that Ruben Randall has established with him. Nice mix of everything in there by Ben McAdoo calling that series.
7th touchdown of the season for Andre Williams. The two big pass plays to Randall went for 43 and 18 yards. So the Giants score a touchdown on their opening drive for the third time this season. All scoring plays reviewed. The touchdown has been confirmed. Josh Brown for the extra point. We played less than 3 minutes. Giants lead 7-0. The big play, 43 yards. Eli Manning to Rueben Randall.
Game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
7-0 lead for the Giants. Manning perfect on the drive, 3 for 3, and he goes over 4,000 yards for the fourth time in his career.
Aggressive decision on the big throw down the field to Rueben Randall. A lot of trust there in double coverage for him to go up and make sure he gets that ball.
Huff takes a knee. So Mark Sanchez and the Eagles offense will start from their 25 seasons with the New York Jets, including 2 AFC Championship games, 3-4 record as a starter since replacing Nick Foles in Philadelphia.
And has really enjoyed his experience in Philadelphia. Really likes the culture that Chip Kelly has established, has enjoyed working underneath an offensive-minded head coach and being able to have those conversations about scheme and how to attack different defenses.
Last time Sanchez played at this stadium, suffered the injury against the Giants in the preseason last year. Missed the entire 2013 season. Eagles pick up where they left off last week with Zach Ertz set a franchise record with 15 receptions.
And one of the big struggles for Philadelphia, that offensive line in and out during the course of the year has impacted LaShawn McCoy's production, and this offense really fires on all cylinders when that running game is clicking.
False start.
False start, number 66, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
The right guard, Andrew Gardner.
And one of the issues when you play the Giants, Jason Pierre-Paul, and he's on a little bit of a roll. We've talked about the whole team being on a roll, but Jason Pierre-Paul individually. And that first play you saw with Zach Ertz, they liked the matchup against the linebackers last week against Washington because of injury. They have to like that matchup again here against the Giants with a lot of young guys in there.
So after Ertz gained 18, Eagles lose 5 on the false start. And now Sanchez hands it off to McCoy. And LaShawn McCoy picks up a first down and more into Giants territory to the 44-yard line, 23 yards for McCoy.
And this is the play that you have to stop, is getting LaShawn McCoy out onto the edge. You can see the pullers coming around. Jason Kelce does a great job. That's the one play you have to stop against this Eagle team.
Off the fade to McCoy, it is Jordan Matthews, the rookie out of Vanderbilt. And Matthews takes it all the way. 44 yards for an Eagles touchdown.
You know, you guys talked about Mark Sanchez when he was here in this stadium with the Jets. He looks like a completely different quarterback. Calm in the pocket and just looking downfield. Really comfortable in this offense that this Philadelphia is running.
Well, you've got the play action. You've got to respect that run. Look at the defensive flow. And all of a sudden you turn around. Can you find Jordan Matthews getting into that intermediate level? He's already got steps on the defender. What an impressive drive by the Eagles to match exactly what the Giants had done to open the game.
Jordan Matthews has terrific bloodlines. His cousin is Jerry Rice. Markey the extra point. 8th touchdown of the season for Matthews. 4 minutes in, tied at 7.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Fun start here at MetLife Stadium. Giants go 80 yards on 6 plays. Eagles do it in half the number of plays.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's such an impressive drive by the Giants, and the Eagles just come out and say, oh, yeah, watch this.
And with that touchdown, Eagles set a franchise record for most points scored in one season. Preston Parker on the return for the Giants. Ball comes loose.
Took a Giants bounce on that one, Kenny.
Mark Herzlich on the recovery.
Now we talk about this up-tempo offense, you know, Bill Davis and the improvement that his defensive group has made, but let's not forget how well that this team has played on special teams this season. Dave Phipps done a tremendous job with his group.
The injured Giant is Nat Burhay.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Pizza Hut. We're taking pizza where it's never been before. By Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
From the top of the Empire State Building to East Rutherford, New Jersey, Giants and Eagles tied at 7. Nat Burhay, the rookie out of San Diego State.
Triple.
The injured Giant.
Everyone. 180.
First and 10 from the 24-yard line. And breaking through to make the tackle on Rashad Jennings is Benny Logan, celebrating his 25th birthday today.
Yeah, lining up right on the nose.
Just took the backside.
Yeah, Weston Richburg's got to seal that a little bit more before he climbs to that second level. Help out J.D. Walton there, your center.
Loss of 3 for Jennings. Missed last week's game with the ankle injury. Second down and 13 off the fake to Jennings. Manning fires downfield for Beckham. No flags. Gary Williams defending.
Well, he had Beckham, and then Beckham had to slow down. When finally released it, he tried to get underneath it, but he could have let him a little bit more on this one, Moose.
Yeah, long developing play. You got the bootleg out, and you can see all the hand play out there on the side. You know, if that's what we're going to have today, then if that's going to be our no call, let's stay consistent with that. Walt Coleman and his crew, if we're going to let him play on the outside, let's let him play all game.
It's fun watching Beckham doing warm-ups, throwing the ball. He's throwing about 75 yards.
Throwing the ball, kicking the ball.
He does everything. I mean, he has a whole crowd watching him going warm-ups. It's amazing what this kid can do.
Play clock winding down. We're down at 13. Pass is caught and taken for a first down by Jennings. Down to the 37-yard line, needed 13 and gained 16.
Yeah, not sure if this was a check down or actually a design play, because J.D. Walton, the center, comes out, gets the block. Michael Kendricks had Rashad Jennings in man coverage, was kind of right there with him, and I thought he was just checking it down, but it looked like it was a tightly designed screenplay.
Yeah, a lot of linemen standing right there. That looked like a dangerous play to me.
First and 10, 37-yard line.
180.
This is Jennings. Not much. Casey Matthews on the tackle for the Eagles. It will be second down and 8.
Eli Manning off to a good start in the passing game, but they're going to have to be able to run the ball effectively. They did so last week against a good front with the Rams. This is a very good front with the Philadelphia Eagles. You talk about Cedric Thornton, Benny Logan, Fletcher Cox. You got the reserves coming in, Vinnie Curry, Mo Allen. This is a good group up front for the Eagles.
Manning on second down. Throws it away. No Giant in the vicinity.
No, and the Eagles are looking for an intentional grounding in that situation. Eli Manning was still in the pocket. There was no receiver in the area, and you've got pressure right up the middle with Casey Matthews, but no call by the officials.
Giants must get to the 47-yard line. Beckham split wide to the right, matched up with Williams. Third down at 9. And that pass off the mark, intended for Odell Beckham Jr. Giants send out the punting unit.
And Bill Davis is well aware of what Odell Beckham Jr. can do. He's down at the bottom of your screen, going to run that in route. Kerry Williams in tight coverage there. And they're going to have some help. They're going to help the guys out. A lot of talk with the Philadelphia Eagles about the big play down the field, the struggles on the corner. And Odell Beckham Jr. is obviously their major concern this afternoon.
Steve Weatherford will punt it away. Darren Sproles back deep. 2 punt returns for touchdowns this season. He's heading to his first Pro Bowl. in 10 seasons. So
That's
congratulations to Sproles. Fair catch at the 25-yard line. A moment of silence was held prior to the game in honor of the New York City police officers, Ramos and Liu, who were laid to rest yesterday. Players, coaches, team personnel paying their respects by wearing the Peace T-shirts, the NYPD caps. We saw Goose had his on earlier.
Yeah, we have to have the leaders in our country get the message to our communities to unify. And a very emotional weekend here in the New York City area.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody, New Jersey, New York, and the stadium, all the police officers that are here today.
Absolutely. Sanchez on first down, looking for Riley Cooper. Shockey Brown on the coverage.
Well, this is one of those opportunities you get for an X-play down the field. You've got Riley Cooper going to the post with no safety help, but Shockey Brown's in a good trail position right there.
Play is blown dead. It's another false start. Second against the Eagles.
False start, number 86. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Tight end Zach Ertz. Eagles on their first possession, 3 plays, 80 yards, and a touchdown. It took just 71 seconds. Second and 15 following the penalty. McCoy out across the 25 to the 27. Time for a game break to Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Houston is still with an outside chance to make the AFC playoffs. First thing they've got to do is beat Jacksonville, and they're trying to do that. Up 7-3 in the first quarter thanks to the Aaron Foster 10-yard touchdown reception. Kenny Moose and Deuce.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Houston would make the playoffs with a win and losses by both the Ravens and the Chargers. Third down and 7. Sanchez throws. There is a flag as the catch is made for a first down by Ertz out at the 38.
That was good trust by Mark Sanchez in the pocket of his offensive line. Some pressure from the Giants starting to collapse. He hung in there, made a nice throw.
Illegal hands to the face, number 39. Defense, have penalties declined. Play results in a first down.
That's on Shockey Brown. First down for the Eagles.
Shockey Brown working on Josh off on the outside. And that's an easy call right there.
Second reception for Ertz today. 15 against the Redskins last week as the Eagles attack the linebacker position. Giants without Devon Kennard today. They've been without John Beeson for most of the season. Sanchez on the keeper. This was something we talked about it with Mark yesterday. The read option new to him this season.
Yeah, it's not just changing the play at the line of scrimmage, but then as the play continues, read or keep right there. Then read or throw on the outside. Love that little fake because that is an actual play that the Giants defense has seen.
Season-long 15-yard run for Sanchez. And now he fires downfield, short and intercepted. It was intended for Riley Cooper. There is a flag. Stevie Brown with the pick.
Big difference here in the throw we saw from Eli Manning into double coverage on their opening drive to the throw Mark Sanchez just made right there. Watch this pocket breakdown. He knows he's going to take a big hit, so he's not going to be able to get everything on this throw.
Pass interference, number 39. Defense. Ball replaced at the bottom flat. First down.
Also, guys, Stevie Brown, number 27 for the Giants, is down on the 15-yard line. They're checking him out right now. It looked like he did something to his leg.
Yeah, during the celebration, or at least as he got up, after picking off the pass from Sanchez, which is nullified due to the penalty.
Tom Coughlin is furious, and he saw at the end of that play, I don't know where the interference was. If anything, I thought it might have been going against Riley Cooper in that situation.
I didn't see anything there.
There's a little bit there. Yeah, I mean, you've got some. Is the ball is underthrown just a tad. So watch Shockey Brown. He's in that trail position right there, number 39. There's the hook and pull right there. So, yeah, Tom Coughlin was upset. I think the back judge is he's gonna throw that flag, even though that ball is underthrown, because you had the hook and the pull by Shockey Brown as the ball is arriving. It's impeding his progress to go make a play on the ball or the catch.
Clayton Dempsey replaces the injured Stevie Brown as McCoy takes it down to the 1.
And there's one of the reasons that you really worry about the zone read in the NFL. Mark Herzlich just drilled Mark Sanchez on the give.
Second and goal.
Well, that's one thing Moose of the option does. It makes that defensive end guess who's getting the ball. You don't know if it's inside, outside, so...
Watch 58, though. He's coming to the quarterback each time. He's not worried about dive. If it's an assignment-based scheme that they're going to defend this with, that means somebody has the dive back. Mark Herzlich, number 58 right now, he has quarterback, and he is going to go hit that quarterback whether he keeps or gives.
Now third
or
and
keeps
goal.
or holds it.
Third and goal after McCoy was stopped. Chris Polk split wide to the left. Two tight ends. Now Polk comes in motion. Play clock winding down. Third and goal from the 1. Sanchez looking end zone. He throws, and he finds Brent Selleck for a Philadelphia touchdown.
A lot of time for that play to develop. Mark Selleck just pops out of the line of scrimmage. A nice crossing route wide open. Great throw by Sanchez.
Oh, this is a nice sell. Selleck is going to be here. You're going to go down. You're going to block. You kind of fight your way all the way across field. Hard to keep your eyes on that player in that situation, and sometimes you just get lost in the shuffle, and that's exactly what happened. Mike Harris lost Brent Selleck in his coverage.
That is the first touchdown reception of the season for Selleck. Two possessions, 2 touchdowns for the Eagles. Selleck shaken up.
Yeah, one of your warrior, your Iron Man type guys in the NFL. Brent Selleck, you know, saw him earlier this season. He was already beat up at the midpoint. Just continues to come out and line up. Good all-around tight end. Good online blocker. Good receiver.
So the Eagles, as Stevie Brown is carted off, Eagles take advantage of that 41-yard penalty, marking the extra point. It is now 14-7 Philadelphia. Selleck limping as well after the touchdown reception. (14-7) lead for the Eagles. Philadelphia scoring touchdowns on each of their first 2 possessions. First of the year for Brent Selleck. Preston Parker back deep for the Giants. Giants will start from their 20-yard line, trailing by 7.
We talked to Tom Coughlin about the first meeting, and he said they kind of got surprised by the pace of play by the Eagles offense at the start. I think you would have to say the same thing again on that opening drive here today. The other area was down in the trenches. He really felt that the Giants offensive line and defensive lines lost their battles that day. This is important for the Giants offense right here to come out. They've got to get something established. They've got to have that running game be a part of this afternoon.
Beckham in motion. First and 10 from the 20. Heading to Beckham. His second catch today, number 81 on the season. Odell Beckham Jr. becoming the 4th Giant in franchise history to catch at least 80 passes in one season, joining Steve Smith, Amani Toomer, and Victor Cruz. Cruz did it twice. He was injured in the first game this season against Philadelphia back in week 6. Eagles won that game 27-0. Shutting out the Giants. Giants scored on their opening possession today. Second down and 6. Andre Williams
Right now, that Eagles defensive line is doing a lot of moving and shifting up on the line of scrimmage. You see right there. I think Eli's trying to go and getting the perfect play. Went in the I formation, just running up the middle. But sometimes you just got to go with what's called. Perfect play isn't always out there all the time. So that's what us defensive guys think.
Williams ran into the arms of Brandon Bear. Now 3rd down and 5. Bunch formation to the right.
118.
And with time, he throws. It is Beckham. Beckham makes the catch for a Giants first down at the 47-yard line. 22-yard pass play.
And Odell Beckham Jr. is coming out of that bunch that was at the bottom of the screen. Going to push up the field. You have to respect that speed. You could see Kerry Williams turn his hips on that play. And then as soon as he opened to the field, Odell Beckham Jr. breaks to the outside. I'll tell you, he runs good routes for a young wide receiver. Very patient on that out route.
118.
On first down, it's Williams. And Andre Williams spins to the Eagles' 45, a gain of 8.
I had a chance to talk to him before the game, Kenny. That guy's thighs, we always talk about tackling a guy down, take his legs out of it so he can't drive the pile. I don't know if I want to hit that guy down around the thighs.
You want to take out stay high on him, huh?
My goodness. Holy smokes. Look at those legs. It's like Earl Campbellish.
It's like a 32 waist.
Led the nation in rushing last season at Boston College. Finished 4th in Heisman balloting. Williams to the sidelines. Jennings back in. Bunch formation to the left. 2nd down and 2. The toss to Jennings. Jennings close to the marker. And it looks like he picked up the first.
And one of the things, if you're going to do a running back by committee, both guys have to cheer for each other and respect each other. And Rashad Jennings did a real nice job of creating that environment with Andre Williams. When he was out and he was injured, he was Andre Williams' #1 fan, kept him positive. He was struggling a little bit in the running game early on in his opportunity, and Rashad Jennings just stayed with him, had that breakthrough game at Tennessee.
From the 42. 4th catch of the first quarter for Odell Beckham Jr. to the Philadelphia 25, 17-yard connection.
Some guys are gifted with God-given ability, but you've got to take that and then become a really good route runner. You've got the breakaway speed, and Nolan Carroll is respecting that, but look how quickly he gets in and out of his cuts.
Carroll's got a big cushion.
Hey,
Gotta get up on him. You don't want to give him anything. Beckham's too good.
180.
From the 25 on first down, it's Jennings. And Jennings picks up 5. We talked about the camaraderie between Williams and Jennings. They figured out pretty early on that Andre Williams' middle name is Rashad, and Rashad Jennings' middle name is Andre.
That's meant to be. I mean, how else can you describe it? And here's something we'll get into during the course of the game. We always talk this with Philadelphia, time of possession, complementary football, and again, some great logic from Chip Kelly. I always enjoy visiting with him and his perspective on the game.
Eagles last in the league once again in time of possession, but they've run the most plays. 2nd and 5 pass is intended for Randall with Connor Barwin covering.
And one of the big things that we talk about when we're saying complementary football and time of possession is just how long your defense stays out there. And you can see what this defense has had to face. And we talk about Bradley Fisher and Kerry Williams on the corner. They've had the most snaps of any secondary personnel in the league. They are 1 and 2. And sometimes that fatigues you down the stretch. So it's that balance. Right now, the Giants defense, they're on the sideline catching their breath, waiting for their next opportunity to take the field.
And without Fletcher, 37, Jalen Watkins on the field covering Randall. Manning to the end zone. A diving attempt is made by the tight end, Larry Donnell.
They're going after Carroll a little bit, huh? Seems like the ball's always in his vicinity.
Well, he'll take it. You know what? The great thing about Nolan Carroll, he can play across the board. He can be an outside corner. He can be inside working against tight ends. And Larry Donnell, that's a good player right there. He's got some good stats this year. That's good coverage. Nice touch by Eli right there, trying to get it beyond him. Doesn't get the completion, doesn't get the call.
Josh Brown out to attempt a 38-yard field goal from the right hash, placed down by Weatherford. Brown's kick is good. So the Giants pulled to within 4. They just missed 7 off the outstretched hand of Larry Donnell. Today, the 160th meeting between these longtime rivals. There's Herm Edwards taking it in, the miracle at the Meadowlands. So many memorable moments. Giants and Eagles. Deshaun Jackson, the walk-off punt return touchdown.
Just watching it, Jeremy Shockey, Brian Dawkins, the battles that they had, Randall Cunningham, Lawrence Taylor. I mean, you know, Tony mentioned it as a boy coming here with his dad, watching these games, just two storied franchises, and a great battle because of the proximity of both of these franchises.
Great wars, man, between these two teams.
Chip Kelly actually began his coaching career in this area. He was on the defensive staff at Columbia University back in 1990. Fast forward to 2006, he was offered a job by Tom Coughlin on the Giants staff, but he elected to stay at New Hampshire.
Well, there's a guy who can recognize some talent because Chip Kelly became a hot commodity shortly after that.
Sure did. Josh Huff takes it in. Eagles with a 14-10 lead will start from their 20-yard line. 4 receptions for Odell Beckham Jr. in this first quarter. How about Mark Sanchez? 4 completions so far today, including 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah, got away with one with that throw down the middle of the field. Shouldn't have made that. Was lucky to have that pass interference call to continue that drive. So that's the one area that Mark Sanchez has to clean up. This entire Eagles offense has to get that fixed. It was the one thing. It's the elephant in the room when you sit down with Chip Kelly. Listen, we've got to fix the turnover thing. Because if you look at everything that they have done this season, it's very similar to what they did last year, except that glaring statistic of turnovers.
35 in all, they lead the league. As we mentioned, they've broken their franchise record for points. As McCoy takes it out to the 23. Eagles last year, 442 points. That set a franchise record with the 14 today. They are now at 454, 3rd in the league. But the turnovers have really hurt the Eagles.
And the points off. Saw that graphic right there. Not just the turnover, but points as well.
2nd and 7. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, the former Eagle, on the coverage. Jeremy Maclin without a reception today. 82 on the season, the intended receiver.
You know, when things are going good for this Eagles offense, they're moving the ball down the field, but you get 1 or 2 bad plays, all of a sudden you find yourself just like this, 3rd and 7, and struggling to get a first down.
Sanchez pump fake, throws, and wide open, picking up the first down is Jordan Matthews, who scored the Eagles' first touchdown. And when you talk about rookie receivers around the league, don't forget about Jordan Matthews.
Absolutely not. I tell you, it was one of the things that Chip Kelly talked to us about early in the year. And what you think of a slot receiver in the NFL is that smaller, shifty guy. Jordan Matthews, big physical guy that he uses.
He picked up 24 off the fake to Sproles. Sanchez throws, and this one is broken up by Shockey Brown.
I don't know why Shockey Brown didn't make a play on the ball. He gets in front of Jordan Matthews. I want to see the end of this play. Looks as he's coming around, I thought he had a better opportunity for the catch. Maybe a good job by Jordan Matthews at the end.
Looked like on that play, Jason Pierre-Paul went down inside for that dive, didn't stay on Sanchez, and that's why Sanchez had a little extra time to look downfield.
Break it down at 10. It is Sproles up the middle. Sproles across midfield to the Giants' 47. Time for another game break. Kurt.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs haven't thrown a touchdown pass to a wide receiver all season. Dwayne Bowe fumbled it. The tight end, Travis Kelce, gets it, so still no touchdown pass to a wide receiver. They lead San Diego 10-0 in an important playoff game for both teams as far as getting into the playoffs. Kenny, Moose and Goose?
Nice job by Travis Kelce. His brother Jason is the Eagles center.
Well, that's when you know it's just not meant to be. You're just not meant to throw a touchdown to a wide receiver this year.
18, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And they're having a hard time with that snap count right now. It's the 3rd offsides for Philadelphia's offensive line.
Well, that was on Jeremy Maclin on the outside, and that was one of the areas that really gave them fits against Washington. We talked about the turnovers and the big plays given up by the defense, but 13 penalties by Philadelphia, too. That'll sabotage an afternoon for you.
So the third false start against the Eagles offense. Third down and 10. Sanchez. And found anyone. Down he goes. Demontre Moore brings down Sanchez at the 48, so the Eagles will punt for the first time.
Demontre Moore is going to be coming from the top of the screen, just going to keep working against Lane Johnson, and that's Mark Sanchez has to know this. He has Demontre Moore and he has Jason Pierre-Paul on the field. Two very athletic, never-say-die pass rushers.
And he got, let me tell you something, Sanchez hit the ground hard right now. He ran over to the bench. Keep an eye on what his status will be.
Donnie Jones punting to Ruben Randall. Fair catch is called for by Randall at the 10-yard line as the first quarter comes to an end. Two early touchdowns. Sanchez has thrown for 2 scores. Eagles lead after one, 14-10. First quarter numbers with the Eagles leading 14-10. Philadelphia had the ball, Darryl, for 5 minutes, 48 seconds, 14 points.
Same old for the Eagles.
Giants start from the 10 as Manning hands it off to Jennings. And Rashawn Jennings out to the 15-yard line, gain of 5.
That's some good old-fashioned tough running inside.
Well, Eagle fans out there, Mark Sanchez is fine. He's on the sideline doing his thing. Just a little update right there.
Thanks, Goose. Sanchez coming off a career-high 374-yard game last week against the Redskins, set a franchise record, 37 completions. Second down at 5. And Manning's pass is just out of the reach of the tight end, Adrian Robinson. 3rd and 5 upcoming.
Trying to get Adrian Robinson matched up. That got him against Malcolm Jenkins, but unable to connect. Going for a big play down the middle of the field. Looked like Adrian Robinson mistimed his jump on that. Yeah, Eli wants him to get going.
Manning with 7 completions, 7 of 13. 4 of the 7 have gone to Beckham Jr. Play clock is at 2. 3rd down and 5 for the Giants. Manning throws, and Donnell unable to make the catch. He was wide open.
Got it on the back shoulder. Larry Donnell's got to make the catch, but Eli, give him a better chance. You want to be able to run with the catch. When you're that wide open, get it out on that front shoulder so he can run after the catch. Nice job by the offensive line, the coordination with the running backs to pick up that, to give him the time, but just a little bit off on that throw.
You saw Eli go and say, a little hurry up, a little faster, and then at that time went a little too fast.
Weatherford punting from his 5-yard line. End over end kick, angled away from Sproles. Good field position for the Philadelphia Eagles, marked at the 43-yard line.
Today's game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. We're taking pizza where it's never been before. By Pepsi. Pepsi Hype for Halftime, the official sponsor of the Pepsi Super Bowl 49 halftime show. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
Chip Kelly's Eagles, touchdowns on their first 2 possessions. Lead the Giants 14-10. Second highest scoring team in the league in the first quarter, trailing only Green Bay. Philadelphia with 2 first-quarter touchdowns today. Sanchez, quick release, it's Maclin. He ran into his own man, the right tackle, Lane Johnson, and gains 4 out to the 47.
Tough navigating to get out there to get the kick-out block with all those bodies around. You run into your own guy.
On second down, it's McCoy. Sean McCoy led the NFL in rushing last year. He's 5th this season, heading to his 3rd Pro Bowl.
Again, you've got Darren Sproles there who's taken some snaps from you and things like that. I think, again, another great addition to this Philadelphia team at the beginning of the season and the way it's panned out with what he's done as a punt returner and a changeup back.
They're down at 4. Sanchez over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Sproles, who wanted a flag. Eagles go 3 and out. They will punt it away.
And this is where you get into trouble with Darren Sproles. He's going to come from the backfield, but he's a tremendous route runner, setting him up just on the option route. And it's good positioning by Spencer Paysinger, but Darren Sproles is going to beat you to the inside, so just a little miss right there.
Paysinger starting for the injured Kennard. That possession, Darrell, 53 seconds. Eagles go 3 and out. Fair catch called for by Randall at the 11. Early second quarter. Eagles in the season finale by 4. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa back at MetLife Stadium. Eagles leading the Giants 14-10. Eagles have lost their last 3 following a 9-3 start to the season. Giants started 3-9, have won 3 straight. First and 10 from the 11-yard line for the Giants. Manning rolling right, throws. Intended for Beckham. Brandon Boykin getting a piece of it.
Got a little tip on that play. If he gets anywhere near Odell Beckham Jr., it's going to happen. And look at what we've had here the last 5 games. We talked about growing pains for this Giants team. And as you learn a new offense, there is going to be some growing pains. And you can see how it's really starting to click for Eli Manning. He's got so much more control at the line of scrimmage to get in and out of these plays. And that takes time to learn.
11 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions for Eli over the last 5 games following the 5-interception game against San Francisco. Fletcher Cox makes the tackle, wrapping up Williams. Time for a game break. Joel Klatt. Joel.
All right, Kenny, San Diego needs to win to get in the playoffs. With a loss, they're eliminated. But they draw within 3. They were down 10-0, come back 10-7 there after Brandon Oliver touchdown. Kenny, Moose and Goop.
Yeah, 10 points is not a big lead on San Diego after what they did to San Francisco last week. No, Phillip Rivers, what a great performance.
And Chase Daniel starting at quarterback for the Chiefs for the injured Alex Smith. We're down at 9. Giants must get to the 21 for a first down. Manning throws, and it's broken up by Cary Williams. Ruben Randall, the intended receiver. So the Giants go 3 and out.
All right, here's a tip for all you young guys wanting to be a wide receiver. This is a good route, but you got to get your head around quick, right? Ruben Randall, you pushed all the way up, just a little bit quicker, and then be expecting that ball to come. You're right at the sticks. You're going to have an opportunity for the first down. Thrown inside a little bit. Good coverage again by Cary Williams on the outside, one-on-one.
So a 53-second possession for the Eagles, but then their defense gets off the field in 53 seconds. Rutherford gets it away from deep in his own territory and takes a Giants roll. Still going. That'll be down at the 38-yard line by Chandler Fenner. 50 yards on the punt and roll.
This game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Eagles were sitting at 9-3 back in early December. Losses to Seattle and Dallas week 15 and the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, but I really think that right now Seattle and Dallas, 2 of the hottest teams in the NFC. It was the loss last week against the Redskins, and you look right there, you know, where they finished up, missing the playoffs after starting 9-3. Only the 3rd time.
Third since 1990 under the current format. Sanchez steps up and throws. It is picked off by Mike Harris.
There's a turnover as they talk about. He had plenty of time. Just put the ball in the wrong spot. Took too long to get that ball out of his hands.
Well, he's got to see the field. You've got to be able to see Mike Harris coming off of his guy from the left. It's a pull-on play. So watch 37. He's going to be moving into your screen from the left down the field. Sanchez steps up, extends his time. You have to be able to see that free defender. And what's happened with Philadelphia, the reason why they're having so many interceptions is you have the entire offseason to really study this offense. And instead of playing press man and simplifying things, teams are now playing more zone. They have adjustments that they're making, even with that up-tempo pace. So not as clean a look on some of these throws as they had last season.
Manning fires downfield, looking for Beckham, and it's broken up.
But that's another opportunity right there. You've got a chance to take the ball right back because Eli Manning makes a bad decision. He got away with one earlier throwing into double coverage. Here's another one.
Malcolm Jenkins had it right in his hands. He's got to come up with that ball. You're 100% right, Moose. Missed opportunities by this Philadelphia secondary.
Beckham surrounded by Eagles. So the Eagles turn it over for a league-high 36th time. 27th turnover committed by Philadelphia quarterbacks. Second career pick for Harris, who was signed off the Lions practice squad by the Giants earlier this season. And now Beckham picks up a first down on his 5th reception today.
Better location on the throw that time by Eli Manning when you've got somebody coming across the middle of the field. Get it out front, let him catch and run after the catch.
Gain of 14 as Sanchez looks at the pictures. And that ended a stretch of 7 straight incompletions thrown by Manning. First and 10, 35-yard line. The handoff to Williams, who cuts back inside and gains 4 down to the Eagles' 31.
That was a nice cut by Andre Williams right there. We talked about, how big and physical he is, and that's just a plant your foot jump cut back to the inside. You'd see that from a smaller back, but that was well done.
Second down and 7. Early second quarter, Eagles lead by 4. Manning to Ruben Randall. Another Giants first down for the Philadelphia 20.
And you can see this Giant offense get into their rhythm. Ruben Randall on the outside. You've got the flat underneath. You look at how that window opens up as Nate Allen moves out to the outside to cover that flat route. That inside window on the slant opens wide for Ruben Randall to slip into.
9th completion for Eli Manning in his first season under offensive coordinator Ben McAdoo. Eli sets a new career high for completions in one season. Now 2 tight ends for the Giants. First and 10 from the 20. Beckham slot to the left. Play clock at 2. Manning throws. And it's incomplete. Looking for either Preston Parker or Larry Donnell.
Miscommunication looked like to me.
These are the growing pains that we talk about, with the offense. What are you seeing in this situation with the coverage that we have on the outside? And quarterback, wide receiver not on the same page in that situation.
Now Beckham is lined up in the backfield. Now he shifts to the slot. Right side. On second and 10. Manning steps up. He dumps it off. Beckham inside the 10. And down at the 8-yard line. Has a Giants first down.
Eli definitely goes and sees something right here and makes a signal to Beckham. He touches his arm a little bit, and Beckham runs a nice route to the outside and then spins back to the inside. Eli knew that they were going to vacate the center of the field on this one. There he comes on a spin back inside, but he gave him a little signal right before the snap of the ball, knowing exactly where Philadelphia was going to be and where the hole was going to be.
Now Beckham wide right. First and goal from the 8. Fullback Kwiatkowski and Williams in the backfield. Tight end Fells shifting. Hand off to Williams. And Andre Williams running hard. Brought down to the 4 by Emmanuel Acho. Second and goal coming up.
There's a nice tackle, nice flow from the inside out by Emmanuel Acho. Good hit too. No yards after contact on that.
I felt that one about 10 seconds ago, Moose. I was standing about 15 yards. I heard it.
Acho, who spent some time with the Giants practice squad last season. Now Beckham split out to the left. Second and goal from the Eagles 4. It is Williams again. And Andre Williams takes it down to the 2-yard line. Trent Cole playing following surgery just over a week ago in his broken hand. Cole, first Eagle And on the tackle, so it will be 3rd and goal from the Eagles 2.
Defensive coordinator Bill Davis talking about Trent Cole. I don't know if he's going to have a Band-Aid on there or a hard cast or what, but I know Trent Cole's going to be out there playing the game tomorrow.
He just loves the game of football, man. He's a warrior.
Now 3rd and goal. Giants empty the backfield. Beckham slot to the left. And into the end zone for Beckham, and good coverage from Brandon Boykin.
Eli took a big shot on this one, Moose.
Yeah, well, if you empty the backfield, you're going to get one or the other. You know, you're going to get everybody dropping back in coverage, or you're going to get pressure. They turned Connor Barwin loose, and you know, that's one thing you don't want to do, and that's going to affect your throw. It's a little bit underthrown. Brandon Boykin in good position to make a play on the ball.
That's the corner of the end zone where Beckham was warming up earlier today. He had about 100 fans watching him. Nobody was paying attention to anything else during warm-ups. Here's Josh Brown from the right hash from 20, pulling the Giants to within 1. Following the interception by Mike Harris, setting up the Giants field goal. Short field for the Giants following the interception by Harris. 10 plays, 47 yards. Josh Brown with his second field goal of the afternoon. 1-point Eagles lead. Josh Huff back deep. Midway through the second quarter of the regular season finale. Huff will take it out. Out across the 20. Dives to the 24-yard line.
Well, here's kind of the risk you run at this up-tempo offense. You look at those first 2 drives, great. 10 plays, 155 yards, 14 points, very quick. Now their last 3, same amount of plays, look at the yardage. So you can have very quick and efficient scoring drives, but you can have very quick 3 and outs, and your defense is right back on the field. That's one of the risks. It's one of the things that you see with this offense. We showed the graphic earlier about how long the Philadelphia Eagle defense has been on the field because of the style of play of the offense.
On the last 3 possessions, 2 punts and a pick. Eagles' longest drive today lasted 2:26. Now Sanchez lost one up. Nice touch, and it's Jeremy Maclin out to the 49-yard line. A first down, 25-yard pass play.
But they do throw a lot at you. It's tough to defend. Jeremy Maclin's going to be coming all the way from the other side of the field. Zach Ertz is going deep, clears out that whole intermediate area, and he just fits into that wide open space.
What a season for Maclin as McCoy takes the handoff into Giants territory. Maclin now 84 receptions. The franchise record is 90. Brian Westbrook. So Jeremy Maclin just 6 shy.
We've talked about how similar they are in a lot of statistics from 2013 to this year. And Jeremy Maclin putting up very, very similar numbers to what Deshaun Jackson put up last year.
Sanchez steps away from Herzlich, and then Herzlich takes him down at midfield. We head to Los Angeles for a Cowboys-Redskins update with Joel.
Kenny Dallas still alive for that 2 seed, still alive for the 1 seed. Actually, this is going to help all Cowboys in this one. 27-7 after DeMarco Murray takes them from 9 yards out. By the way, he's also become the Cowboys' single-season rushing leader over Emmitt Smith. Back to Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks, Joel. So I mentioned they still have a shot for the 1 seed, as do 4 other NFC teams. Sproles for the 44, but not enough.
But Jason Garrett with a very similar approach to Chip Kelly in that game. When Chip Kelly was asked this week, are you going to look at some younger players? Absolutely not. We don't use the season for evaluation. You earn your playing time, and I'm not going to do that to a veteran player. We're going to play to win. Jason Garrett, the same thing. Yeah, you can improve your playoff position, but with Romo hurt and DeMarco Murray hurt, are you going to sit those guys down? You just saw in the highlight Tony Romo handing off to DeMarco Murray.
And a big lead for the Cowboys in Washington. Fair catch is called for at the 11. Well, the season will end at Madison Square Garden. You can ring in the new year on Fox Sports 1. A marathon of Big East basketball featuring all 10 teams back-to-back, including a showdown between Butler and 7th-ranked Villanova. Our Big East New Year's Eve marathon begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, goes all the way to midnight, only on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So a big day and night of basketball coming up this Wednesday. Fox Sports 1, don't miss it. Giants trail by 1. Start from there, 11. On first down, the handoff to Jennings. And Rashad Jennings gains 3 out to the 14. Brandon Graham, the tackle.
And this defensive group, they understand what their role is on this team. It's kind of a sudden change situation from series to series. And sudden changes as an offense turns the ball over. Maybe you just got to the sideline, you're right back out all of a sudden. And that's how the Philadelphia defense plays the game the entire game, with the pace of play of the offense.
And on 2nd and 7. Looking for Jennings. 3rd and 7 upcoming.
And there's Fletcher Cox again. You got a throwing lane to the outside to Rashad Jennings, but you got big 91 right in the middle of that. And just an outstanding season. And a lot of talk about the Dallas Cowboys offensive line this year inside Travis Fredericks, Zach Martin. One of the guys that they always talk about was going against Fletcher Cox twice a year. Said he's one of the best they have to play against, you know, when they get into that situation.
Chip Kelly says Fletcher Cox might just be our MVP. And that's Chip talking about a defensive player.
Let me tell you what, you watch that Eagles defense, and 91 is popping up all over the place.
They're down in 7. Manning fires downfield looking for Randall, and Randall makes a spectacular catch. Ruben Randall comes down with a football at midfield with Jalen Watkins on the coverage, a 36-yard completion.
On the outside, we saw the big catch earlier against double coverage. He gets on top of Jalen Watkins right away on that one, knows he's going to land hard. I tell you, the light has gone on for Ruben Randall. He got benched in Jacksonville. He didn't play through the first quarter of Washington. Had a nice game last week against the St. Louis Rams. Is following up again this week with another one. You're talking about Odell Beckham Jr., Victor Cruz, and Ruben Randall next season.
And now Manning downfield for Beckham, and he takes a hard hit at the end of the play from Malcolm Jenkins. No flag, and Beckham can't believe it. Took off his helmet.
His helmet's off on the field, so...
That's a fine also. That's going to cost him some money.
No flag has been thrown yet. Eagles wondering why Beckham has not been flagged.
I think there was contact before the ball arrives. Let's see with Nolan Carroll if he bumps him right before the ball gets here. Yeah, that's the problem. And then there's potential for hit on a defenseless player by Malcolm Jenkins. Let's see if the shoulder forearm goes to the head neck area.
First, team timeout. Giants, 30-second timeout.
We got a lot of calls that could have happened on that play, and we are clean without a flag at this point.
Odell Beckham, though, he has to keep his cool. He can't go and let this go and turn into, you know, a penalty situation where he can just lose his head a little bit. Last week he had a little bit of confrontation that Rams went at him a little bit, but he's got to go and keep his cool right here. This is big for the Giants.
Well, no, the Rams really went at him last week. They tried to intimidate him, take him out of the game. He played with it, and I don't think that's what Philadelphia is doing in that situation. I thought there was contact on the play right before the ball arrives. I think Nolan Carroll's there early. You see the hand, definitely impeding the opportunity, and then the hit right there. You know, it's kind of the shoulder right to the head.
Giants use their first timeout, now 2nd and 10. Beckham remains on the field. Split wide to the left. Matched up with Nolan Carroll. Manning to Preston Parker. Jenkins the tackle, and 2 flags are thrown.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, number 27, defense, 15 yards from the end of the play, first down.
So the face mask on Jenkins, and we bring in Mike Pereira from Los Angeles to talk about the previous play on the pass intended for Beckham. Mike, what did you see?
Certainly a lot on this play. You know, to me, I don't like it as interference. Defender turns around to make a play on the ball. There's some contact with the arm. But again, both playing the ball, I think that's a legal play. Now, the question is, do you get shoulder to the head or neck area, which I think you can make a case for. You can also make the case for him removing his helmet, after the play was over. But listen, they didn't call anything, but 1 out of 3 is about all they got.
All right, thanks, Mike. And now it is Manning to Randall yet again inside the 5. What a first half for Rueben Randall. A 25-yard completion.
At the top of your screen and just having a heck of an afternoon right now. Kerry Williams late getting around the adjustment to the ball that's underthrown.
He did a great job just getting his eyes back to see where the ball was going to be on that back shoulder and find it.
He has made some athletic catches here in the first half.
Career high 134 yards for Randall today. Beckham in motion, 1st and goal from the 3. Manning complete to Andre Williams. And he's knocked out of bounds by Michael Kendricks at the 3.
And the impressive that you follow up a career high last week at 6 for 132 to the 134 today. And again, coming into the game, you're focused on Odell Beckham Jr. and Rueben Randall is taking advantage of that situation right now. If we have to get help over the top, depending on where number 13 is, there's going to be opportunities for Rueben Randall.
Second and goal from the Eagles 3. On the slant, flag. Pass intended for Beckham. Nolan Carroll on the coverage.
Yeah, Carroll was all over him. Had his hands on the back. Surprising he called for a horse collar on that one.
Pass interference, number 82, offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
So it is Rueben Randall.
Yeah, we have the screen plays and the pick plays down here in the red zone, so he's probably going to move out to his left and obstruct the player from coming across, and you just got to sell that a little bit better.
And Nolan Carroll was all over Beckham.
But the reason that was successful is his coverage was so tight on Odell Beckham Jr. There was really no way for Rueben Randall to run that rub, kind of fake that pick to make him run the bubble. So good job understanding what could come in that situation by Nolan Carroll.
So it forces the Giants back 10 yards to the 13, 2nd and goal. 3 receivers set. Manning to the end zone and nearly picked off.
Go ahead, Moose, you want to take this one with lost opportunities with this Eagle team?
Gary
in his
Williams
hands.
thought he had it.
I mean, you get a ball like this, it's thrown right at you. There's nobody around. You just catch it.
You saved your team 3 points right there, at least in this situation.
Williams with 2 picks this year, right through his hands. Now 3rd and goal. Eli Manning, 29 pass attempts here in the first half. 3rd and goal from the 13. Manning steps up, throws to the end zone, and it's broken up. Malcolm Jenkins getting a piece of it. So the Giants, once again, will send in Josh Brown to the field goal unit.
Working the middle of the field right now. Malcolm Jenkins coming off his assignment and really kind of another opportunity right there to save points, to prevent this field goal attempt right here. So the last 2 plays, Philadelphia with opportunities to intercept that ball and keep points off the board.
And now Weatherford lined up to take the snap. Giants send out the
False
field goal
start,
unit.
number 5, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
How about that formation?
Weatherford got a little nervous underneath center there.
Yeah, you cannot do the abrupt movement right there. So not only quarterback, but also somebody simulating quarterback.
A spasm or something on that one.
Weatherford had a good line last week. He said, if you need a pole vaulter on 4th down, I'm your guy. Well, he was lined up in shotgun formation there to take the snap. Giants take the lead on Josh Brown's 3rd field goal of the first half. What a first half for Rueben Randall. And in Eli Manning's 11th season, Darrell, first time in his career he's ever attempted 30 passes in the first half of a game.
Well, I think the big thing is, what is the defense giving you? They're obviously giving them the opportunity. Eli Manning has a lot of flexibility at the line of scrimmage to change plays, so what Philadelphia is doing is probably slowing down the run game. They haven't had a lot of success with that. That's something they're going to have to fix in the second half. But for the Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of the same things that we continue to see. We've seen the big plays now. Granted, Ruben Randle's making some plays on his own on the outside, but that explosive play down the field, critical turnovers. And then on that series right there, the opportunity to get a turnover back. We saw a double coverage throw down near the goal line to Odell Beckham Jr. that should have been intercepted. An opportunity for Kerry Williams on third down there to make the interception, to keep those 3 points off the boards. Anytime you have a chance to take points off the board from your opposition, you've got to follow through with that. And Philadelphia has just missed on those opportunities, not only this afternoon, but during the course of the season.
Lone opportunities for both teams on that drive. The Eagles defense with the potential interception, and the Giants called for the penalty, forced back from the 3 to the 13-yard line, settle for the field goal. And now Browns kickoff through the back of the end zone, so the Eagles, trailing by 2, will start from their 20-yard line with 2:02 remaining in the second quarter. Sanchez 8 of 13, 2 touchdowns today. Eagles, as we continue to look at franchise records that have been matched or set this season, Eagles have set a franchise record for completions in one season. The combination of Foles, who was injured back in early November, and Sanchez. So most completions in a season for the Eagles, most points scored in one season, yet they will miss the playoffs despite the 9-3 start. Sanchez on first down. It's the tight end, Zach Ertz. His third reception today, good for 19 yards. So Mark Sanchez and the Eagles on the move, trailing Eli Manning and the Giants by 2. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Following the 2-minute warning with the Giants leading by 2. Giants lost 2 safeties earlier in the half. Stevie Brown, foot sprain, he is out. And Matt Burhay, his return is questionable following the knee injury. Jordan Matthews to the 42. Eagles have all 3 timeouts. Second down and 7. Sanchez in trouble. It's Jason Pierre-Paul. 11.5 sacks on the season for Pierre-Paul, who will become a free agent following the conclusion of this season.
Another one of the big decisions for the Giants, working against Jason Peters, a Pro Bowl left tackle, just gets his weight a little bit forward, and you could just see that little inside-outside move. Very athletic pass rusher on the edge, Jason Pierre-Paul.
He has said he would like to remain a Giant for life, but also knows it's business. Could this be his last game in a Giant uniform? Third down at 16. Sanchez again in trouble. He steps up. He throws, and it's caught by Macklin for a first down in Giants territory.
And Jason Peters slow to get up, jogging down the field right now. The only offensive lineman for the Eagles that's been able to play every game. Nice job by Mark Sanchez right here. Avoids Cullen Jenkins there, steps up in the pocket, extends that play.
Sanchez, pump fake, moving to his right. Heading for the sidelines. And he crosses out of bounds at the 41. Gain of 6 for Mark Sanchez. 32 seconds remaining.
And this situation right here, the Giant front starting to get some pressure consistently on Mark Sanchez in the pocket.
They have 2 sacks today, Herzlich and Pierre-Paul. Coming into this game, 24 sacks over the last 4 games for the Giants defense. Second down and 4. Philadelphia still with all 3 timeouts. Darren Sproles chased down by Kerry Wynn. Down at the 31-yard line of the Eagles will use their first timeout. What's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report? We check in with Kurt.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, the final spot in the AFC will be determined today. The Chargers win over Kansas City, they're in. If they lose, then Baltimore is in with a win. If they lose, well, then it's Houston and it's Kansas City and a whole lot to talk about, all on the Visa Halftime.
All right, thanks, Kurt. 5 teams into the AFC, 1 spot remaining. Kansas City leading San Diego 16-7. Chargers, the only AFC team that is in with a win. The other 3 teams need help, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Texans. 1 spot open in the NFC, Atlanta and Carolina later today. 25 seconds remaining, Eagles with 2 timeouts. As Sanchez is off the mark, looking for Macklin with Zach Bowman on the coverage.
Maybe San Diego's going to return the favor this year. They needed a lot of help last year to get in. Zach Bowman working against Jeremy Macklin right there. And again, we've seen this crew allowing some physical play on the outside in the passing game.
Sanchez on 2nd and 10. Pump fakes. Now throws. Wide open Riley Cooper for the Giants 8. As time winds down, clock now at 12 seconds. Eagles use their 2nd timeout.
Now this is the 3rd time that Mark Sanchez extending the play, allowing his receivers to break away. A little double move right there. Look how wide open Riley Cooper is on the outside. Antrel Roll kind of focusing on Jordan Matthews to the inside.
First reception for Cooper today. Both starting quarterbacks are over 200 yards in the first half. Eagles have 12 seconds, 1 timeout, 1st and goal from the 9.
Usually rule of thumb, Dow, 6 seconds for play, but I don't know with this Eagles team. They're going to get like maybe 10 plays in 12 seconds.
I think they've got the ability to take 2 shots right here, and still have time on 3rd down if they don't score to kick the field goal.
Sproles in the backfield. Macklin in motion. 1st and goal from the 9. Sanchez throws and it's broken up. Getting a piece of it, Mike Harris, who had the interception for the Giants earlier this quarter.
And because you're at this part of the field, everyone's going to draw a line right there. Look at Jordan Matthews out to the flat, wide open. And your big threat there is you're guarding your goal line right there. The Giants got lucky because you could see the double coverage on Zach Ertz, but they had left Jordan Matthews wide open to the outside.
And a couple of offensive linemen came up really slow. Evan Mathis and Lane Johnson. That play took only 4 seconds.
Now with the play clock's down to 5 right now.
And the Eagles are forced to use their 3rd timeout with the play clock winding down. Oh, a fast start here at MetLife Stadium. Giants on their opening drive. Andre Williams taking it in from 1 yard out. But the Eagles would counter. 44 yards from Sanchez to Jordan Matthews. And then later in the first quarter, Brent Selleck with his first touchdown of the season. Eagles led 14-7. But the Giants have come back with 3 consecutive field goals. Giants closing in on 300 yards in the first half. On 2nd and goal, Sanchez a pump fake. Now he throws, and that is broken up in the end zone, intended for Darren Sproles, the Philadelphia native. Jameel McClain on the coverage.
And here's another one of these young guys really stepped out. Jameel McClain coming in for John Beeson, who was lost earlier this year. And you're drawing Darren Sproles in coverage in a tough situation. Good position right there. Gets a little bit of contact on him to force him wide, and then able to get those hands out without any vision backward, without making contact. Hits Darren Sproles right in the shoulder.
And by the way, prior to that play, the Eagles took the delay of game penalty, did not call the timeout in time, and now as the half comes to an end, a 32-yard field goal by Cody Parkey, who missed 2 last week. So McClain with the big play. Eagles held to 3. They lead the Giants at the half by 1. To Los Angeles for the Visa Halftime Report. Kurt, take it away.
Let's get it together, man. Let's make it count. We're with it. 1, 2, 3.
What a catch. LaShawn McCoy picks up a first down and more. What a first half for Ruben Randle. We get set for the second half here at MetLife Stadium. Philadelphia Eagles lead the New York Giants 17-16 in the season finale. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. 3 first-half lead changes, most of the first half between these longtime rivals since November of 1947. Chip Kelly's Eagles started the season 9-3. Tom Coughlin's Giants started 3-9. Giants 3 straight wins. Eagles 3 straight defeats. Who will it be today? Josh Brown with the second half kickoff. Eagles will start at their 20, and Darryl with 2 teams that know they will not be playing next week. Very exciting first half. 544 combined yards on offense.
It was an unbelievable first half, especially the way the game started. The Giants going right down the field, Philadelphia matching them, coming right back, and then you kind of settle in a little bit. The Giants, they've got to get a little bit better in the red zone, settling for some field goals there, and we'll see if this time of possession, this pace that Philadelphia plays with, how does that pan out here in the second half? We'll get into some complimentary football discussions.
Eagles in the first half, 10 minutes, 58 seconds of possession as McCoy takes the handoff on first down. Goose.
Thanks, Kenny. Got a chance to talk to both coaches. Chip Kelly, he just talked about opportunities. We had an opportunity to get the ball back 3 times. Our secondary, when the ball is up in the air, we got to come down with it. And Giant coach, Coach Coughlin, offensively, he says we need to find a way to run the ball. We just can't go and put it up every play. And defensively, we need to go and just keep going at it. We need to go and keep this thing going and start capitalizing on pressure, and we need to contain Mark Sanchez, because when he's out of the pocket, that's when he's most dangerous, and that's when he's been hurting us the most. So there you go, guys.
All right, thanks, Goose. That last catch made by Matthews. Coughlin referring to the Giants on offense. Manning, 30 attempts. Giants only 46 yards on the ground in the first half. Now on third down and 2, it is McCoy, and he will be stopped short. Mark Herzlich makes the tackle, so the Eagles in this opening possession of the second half are stopped short on third down. Herzlich wrapping up McCoy. Jonathan Hankins has had a very good second season, 7 sacks. Hankins injured on the play. So the Eagles, Darryl, 52 seconds, 3 and out.
That's a risky run when you're at this pace. But, you know, we saw the Giants do the same thing. So it's an issue that every team in the NFL faces. I mean, it's one of the things that you can't have. Every defense is trying to force those 3 and outs. So
Odell Beckham Jr. back deep for the first time today. Fair catch back at the 28-yard line by Beckham Jr. Well, the Dallas Cowboys wrapped up the East last week. 5 NFC teams still alive for that #1 seed.
Yeah, a lot of different things have to happen. Obviously, Seattle in the driver's seat, playing at home today. Only 2 losses the last 2 seasons with Russell Wilson out there. So Arizona the end of the season last year, Dallas earlier this year. Obviously, the game that's coming up, the Detroit-Green Bay game, the second half of our doubleheader, a very strange circumstance. You'd have to finish in a tie there to open some other windows for the other teams.
Packers and Lions both with 11 wins. On first down, it's Williams. Goose spoke to Tom Coughlin about the Giants' running game, and Williams gets bottled up. Jets playing down in Miami. Joel Klatt, what's going on?
Well, Kenny, they're playing hard, I guess, for Rex Ryan after they gave up a long touchdown to Lamar Miller. Eric Decker answers right back in what very well could be Rex Ryan's final game as the head coach of the New York Jets. Decker, 74 yards. It's 24-21 Dolphins. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, thanks, Joel. Second down and 11 for Manning and the Giants. It is Williams again. Fletcher Cox, the jockey. You talk about a game that set 2 teams that share a stadium in different directions. We spoke about it with Sanchez yesterday. December of 2011, Jets had gone to the previous 2 AFC Championship games. Giants played the Jets in late December. The Victor Cruz 99-yard touchdown reception. Sanchez on the other side attempted 59 passes that day. And the Giants go on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he said after that long touchdown catch and run by Victor Cruz. It really deflated the Jets team, and that was the momentum that carried the Giants, from that point onto their Super Bowl.
First of 4 straight years out of the playoffs for Rex Ryan and the Jets as that pass deflects away from Randall with Watkins on the coverage. I mentioned earlier Jalen Watkins' first snaps on defense all season. He's the brother of the Bills' outstanding wide receiver, Sammy Watkins.
And here's why the running game has to improve for the Giants here in the second half. You've got 2 rushing attempts and you lose a yard, so you're in the 3rd and 11 situation. And you've got to have positive yards out of your running game. You can't get behind the chains against the Eagles' defense like that.
Weatherford punting from his 16-yard line and is blocked. The Eagles do it again on special teams. And it is taken all the way back by Trey Burton for a Philadelphia touchdown. Following the block by James Casey. And for Steve Weatherford, that was the first time he has had a punt blocked in his 9-year NFL career.
Well, it all started with the snap. It sort of floated back. Steve Weatherford, you watch it right here. It sort of floated back. It wasn't a snap that you normally see here in the NFL that comes straight back at you really fast. So he didn't have much time to go and get that ball kicked down the field with the pressure right up the middle. This is exactly what's going to happen.
This is one of the areas earlier in the season, and that ball did stay in bounds. Good hustle, good recognition by the Eagles, by Trey Burton, to know that that's a free ball right there that he can return. We'll see how he goes down the sidelines right there. But early in the year when they had the issues with injuries in the offensive line, one of the areas that they were able to account for that was the defensive scores and special team scores, and that's a nice job walking that sideline by Trey Burton for the touchdown. This is the first time in a while. They had 10 coming into the game today, but 7 of those 10 early on in the season. So it's been a while since special teams has been able to contribute for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Special teams coach Dave Fipp, 672 career punts by Steve Weatherford. First one that has ever been blocked. And the Eagles, for the 3rd time this season, score a touchdown on a blocked punt.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. By Burger King. Mix and match 2 large premium sandwiches for just $5 only at Burger King. And by ExxonMobil.
Philadelphia Eagles have opened up an 8-point lead. First time Weatherford has had a punt blocked. Eagles 11th return touchdown, 2 shy of the league record set by Seattle back in '98. And it's the first time, Darryl, the Giants have had a punt blocked and returned for a touchdown since Myron Baker of the Bears did it back in '93. A year before the NFL on Fox came on the air for the first time. And for Trey Burton, rookie out of Florida, his first career touchdown.
But you mentioned, Dave Fipp, what he's been able to do, the special teams coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, with Darren Sproles as your return guy. And then also, because they have the 3 block punts for touchdowns, as a punt protection unit, and we always talked about protection first, he's challenging him that way with the blocks, and then you also have to worry about your coverage with Sproles back deep.
7 touchdowns scored by the Eagles on special teams. 2 kickoff returns, 2 punt returns, 3 block punts. Manning to Beckham. And Beckham picks up the Giants' first down out to the 34. 15 yards for Beckham, and that gets him to 90 for the 9th consecutive game, which ties the record set by your teammate in Dallas back in '95, Michael Irvin. The only 2 players in NFL history with 90 receiving yards, Darryl, in 9 consecutive games.
Here we got orange. Hey, 95 is Mike. 29 to Sam. 29 to Sam. 180. 170.
Jennings takes the first down handoff, and Rashard Jennings picks up a first down and more into Philadelphia Eagles territory. 18 yards for Jennings, longest run today by the Giants.
And it's part of that commitment to the run. You do have to stay with it. We talked about last series, getting the -1 on the 2 carries. Sometimes you're going to have to break some tackles. You're going to have to run through some arms and some shoulders, and that's what Rashad Jennings did on that run right there.
That matches his season long. An 18-yard scamper. First and 10, 48-yard line. It's Jennings. This time tries to spin and is wrapped up by Cedric Thornton, and then a late flag is thrown.
And we're going to see if we get offsetting or if they caught the second person to shove in this situation. And it's been it's an NFC East game. These teams know each other well. A lot of emotion always with your divisional games, and it's been an emotional one this afternoon.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 55 on the offense. After the play's over, 15-yard penalty, second down.
That's on the center, J.D. Walton.
J.D. Walton was the first to shove, and the officials don't like to go offsetting in this situation. They like to penalize somebody when it's a lack of sportsmanship, and good to see that they went with the person who actually did the shoving first and didn't go offsetting.
So much talk about Tom Coughlin, and will he be back next year when the Giants were at 3-9, but that has certainly quieted down over the last 3 weeks. You and I talked about it during the Giants-Redskins game 2 weeks ago. We certainly expect that he will be back in 2015.
Absolutely, just the way his team has finished down the stretch.
On second down, it's Beckham. And Beckham wrestled to the ground by Brandon Boykin.
And this is somebody that I think will benefit with Tom Coughlin staying here. I really do. I think as a mentor, a head coach who can be a mentor, I think that he's going to really benefit with another year with Tom Coughlin, learning things about the game.
You know what, guys, before the game, I had a chance to talk with John Mara, asking him about the fate of Coach Coughlin, and he really, said it's going to be a tough decision. He said, I want to see how this game goes today. There's going to be some weight on what happens here in this game against the Eagles, but he said it's going to be a really tough decision. You got a guy like Ben McAdoo who comes in, and all of a sudden Eli starts gelling with an offensive coordinator like that. If they do make a coaching change, will they change the offense coordinator? Will they change the defense coordinator? Will they keep them? So there are things that he has to think about.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
But the one thing you have to keep in mind is John Mara is a big fan of what the Rooney family's been able to do in Pittsburgh. You look at that organization as a model in these situations. Not only longevity, but consistency. You're not going to get any better making changes. He's got 1 year left on his contract. There are circumstances. I think when you get into a coaching decision, you have to take a step back. They have the most guys on IR. They were in their first year of a new offense under Ben McAdoo. It was a slow start. They're playing well now. I think that if you take a step back, there's lots of reasons why Tom Coughlin should be back next year.
The Mara and Rooney families intertwined by marriage as well. Catch is made by Larry Donnell as he hurdles out to the 49-yard line. But not enough. Gain 16. Giants will punt it away as Donnell goes up and over Jalen Watkins.
Not enough yardage, but aesthetically pleasing to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, exciting.
You give him a 9.2.
Well, we've talked about the wide receiver core, and let's not forget about Larry Donnell on the at the tight end position as well.
Sort of hurl split. Nice.
Now here's Weatherford, whose last punt was blocked. And Sproles met immediately by Zach Bowman. Good coverage on special teams. Eagles get the football back, leading the Giants by 8. Worst starting field position for the Eagles. They lead by 8. Philadelphia sending 5 players to the Pro Bowl.
Now, we've been talking about this, during the course of the game and during break. Darren Sproles, his first Pro Bowl in his career. And then you take a look, Connor Barwin, the great year rushing the passer. Jason Kelsey fighting through his injury.
7th selection for Jason Peters.
Looking at that Eagles, team, Fletcher Cox really is a guy who I thought that was going to make the Pro Bowl, Darryl. You talked about him earlier, about the respect he has around the league from the Dallas offensive line, and really surprised he's not in that lineup also.
He is a 6th alternate, Goose. He needs 6 guys to get injured or pull out. Riley Cooper makes the catch for a Philadelphia first down. A lot of times guys make it the next season, the season after they have their breakout year.
Sure, and you know, and some people might say that about Jason Kelce and how important he was to this offensive line last season, and with the injury this year, he still continues to garner that respect, and hopefully Fletcher Cox will be in that situation next year.
Off the fake, Sanchez directing traffic. Now he throws, and it's incomplete. Matthews out of bounds, and on the Giants side, Odell Beckham Jr. is a first alternate, so a good chance he will go, and Jason Pierre-Paul is a fourth alternate for the Pro Bowl.
There's that misdirection on the play action. Good adjustment by the Giants. You always have to find where's that crosser coming from, the opposite side of the field. He's going to slide into that intermediate route. So a good job by the Giants defense locating Riley Cooper coming across to fill that spot.
Second down and 10. Eagles extended their lead on a touchdown on a blocked punt. LaShawn McCoy out to the 33-yard line. So it will be third down and 6.
And they've done a nice job on that play. LaShawn McCoy hit him early in the game with a couple of nice runs on that outside zone when you've got Kelce and the other lineman pulling out in front. You can see he's up near 5 yards per carry, but he got off to a great start that kind of slowed that play down a little bit.
He ran for 149 in the first meeting against the Giants. Sanchez on 3rd and 6, and that pass was behind Sproles. So the Eagles will punt it away.
Yeah, Jason Pierre-Paul coming from the outside against 90 at the bottom of your screen, going against Jason Peters. And again, just that little inside move and that quick move to get to the outside. Very, very athletic to impact that throw. And going right against Jason Peters, we just showed you he's a Pro Bowl player for the Philadelphia Eagles, 7th time that he's going. And you thought maybe JPP would move throughout that formation, but he's been out on Jason Peters the majority of the time.
Giants sent both Beckham and Randall back deep. Their catch is called for by Beckham Jr. at the 20-yard line. Midway through the third quarter, Eagles by 8.
Today's game is sponsored by American Sniper from Warner Brothers Pictures, now playing in select theaters everywhere January 16th.
Eagles leading the Giants by 8 coming up. America's Game of the Week, Game 2 of our Fox doubleheader. The winner will take the NFC North. Packers and Lions. Green Bay has won 23 in a row in the state of Wisconsin over Detroit. 3 in Milwaukee, 20 at Lambeau Field.
That's not a bad TD to interception ratio that Aaron Rodgers character's got going on this season.
How about at home? 23-0 in 7 home games this season.
Detroit beat him in Detroit earlier this year.
Andre Williams out to the 25-yard line to Los Angeles once again. And Joel Klatt. Joel?
Kenny, the AFC is absolutely crazy right now. How about this? Blake Bortles on the double pass. Cecil Shorts then to Jordan Todman for the 23-yard TD catch. 17-14 Jaguars, which means, as the games stand right now, Kansas City would be in the AFC playoffs. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Pulling out all the tricks. How about that one?
Unbelievable. Chiefs with a 19-7 lead on the Chargers with Chase Daniel at the helm. Casey Matthews brings down Andre Williams. Casey, of course, brother of Clay, who will be in action later today on Fox. Packers and Lions. Seven family members have played in the NFL.
Oh, you're going back to Bruce Matthews.
Dad Clay Jr.
That guy had to play against Clay.
A couple of years.
Cleveland. My goodness.
Yeah, Bruce Matthews was in Tennessee, and I was in Baltimore. Many of battles. Tough people.
Third down and 2. It's Randall. And Ruben Randall breaks free after picking up a first down across midfield to the Philadelphia 49, 24 yards now, 158 on the day.
Great job at the top of the route, working back right here, pushing back towards your quarterback to create the separation from Jalen Watkins. That allows you to run after the catch. Boy, I tell you, the light bulb has just gone on. You know, the last part of the season, you know, he has responded to that benching earlier this month and has played really, really well the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 times in the last 4 games. He was sat down for the first quarter by Conklin, and now it's Beckham on the slant. to the Philadelphia 34-yard line. Another Giants first down. 15 yards as Beckham goes over 100.
And you're reading the quarterback's eyes, and it looks like he's going to throw it out to one of those little bubble screens, and then you hit Odell Beckham on the slant route. And really had an impact on the Philadelphia defense. Well done by Eli Manning with his eyes.
And you got this offense. You can just see how exciting it could be next year with Victor Cruz coming back also with this receiving crew, the way that they've gelled towards the end of the season.
So both Beckham and Randall over 100 for the second straight week. Now Manning with time, looking for Randall in the end zone. He's got it! Touchdown!
There's a flag down, guys.
Flag at the end of the play.
Holding, number 65, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
The left tackle, Will Beatty.
Oh, he had 4 holding penalties last week working against Robert Quinn. And this is a red zone fringe play, so you're near the fringe of the red zone, and you go for the shot down the field. Well executed, well ran on the route by Ruben Randall, but your left tackle in protection, top of the screen, number 65. You can see him working right there.
And of course, if Beatty did not grab hold of Brandon Graham, Graham may have gotten to Manning before he let the pass go. So the Giants now set back 10 yards to the 44. It is first down and 20. Parker comes in motion. And Manning's pass sails away from the intended receiver, Randall.
But the tough part of that situation, and that's one of those specialty areas on the field during the course of the game, and it's red zone fringe. You're coming down there, and you're going to have a set of plays that are shots designed to go for a touchdown, and you set them up. You feel comfortable about it during the course of the game, and you have your opportunity to do it. You execute it, but you have a penalty called back. Ben McAdoo's on to the next one. I got to find another one of those that we've got from the fringe.
Beckham in the slot. He was out on the field for that last play. Second down and 20. Now it is Preston Parker, the intended receiver. Getting a piece of it was Nolan Carroll. And he's slow to get up.
Ball thrown deep. Preston Parker's going to work to the inside to try and make a play on it. And Nolan Carroll's going to spin and continue. He almost makes the play on a little stutter and go.
Here we go.
They have been consistent down the field. They have let them play physically at the point of the catch all afternoon.
Now third down and 20 for the Giants. Play clock winding down. And he throws. What a catch. Not enough for a first down, but another spectacular catch by Beckham. He was ruled down. He got back up. And then was taken down, but he was ruled down at the 35.
I tell you what, this guy is a bundle of energy. And look at the elevation, the extension. He's just that little touch as he's coming down by Brandon Boykin is going to be enough for him to be considered down by contact. You can see right there as he comes to the ground. So he is going to be down by contact. There's another touch right there. But he pops up, and he always wants to play. He's always in the middle of everything when he's on the field.
Here is Josh Brown. This will be a 53-yard attempt. His season long is 52. Career long 58. From the right hash. Brown's kick is good. Just inside the right upright.
Well, that catch by Odell Beckham proves to be important, getting that field goal attempted.
Josh Brown now 4 for 4 today. There's Will Beatty, his holding penalty. Nullified the touchdown, although if he doesn't hold, it might not be a touchdown. Giants wind up with a 53-yard field goal. Pulled to within 5. Late third quarter from MetLife Stadium. Eagles offense back on the field. Odell Beckham Jr., prior to entering the stadium today, signing some autographs. He's the music director for the Giants as well.
We talked about how much excitement he brings to the field, but it's pregame, it's everywhere, and he was told, take care of your business on the field first and foremost, and you can see he's following that advice. Congratulations, number 4. That's a nice list.
Carries it right into the game, man. I'll tell you. Gives a little couple extra inches when you go with that one-hander and with the size of his hands.
Sean McCoy on first down out across the 30. Gains 11 and picks up an Eagles first down.
We don't have any footage of Kenny running in there and catching with Odell?
I was watching you kicking field goals, Goose. In fact, I lost some money on your second attempt.
Did you? Why, you didn't think I was going to kick a 30-yarder? Come on.
Lost some money on your second attempt. Here's McCoy. Out to the 34. I based it on your first kick.
That was a setup. That was the setup. You know, you do just get it by, you know. And the next one you nail it, Kenny.
And that is exactly what took place. 2nd and 7 for the Eagles from the 34. Off the play fake. Here is Sanchez. Pump fake. And down he goes at the 37.
Oh, look at this, Kenny. They got it. They got it. I think this is the first one. Look at that form. Straight over. Look. Split it right down the middle, Kenny.
That takes me back to my 10th birthday when I got that toy called Super Toe, where you hit the guy on top of the head, kick field goal.
And the leg comes straight out. My leg doesn't go that high.
Sanchez on 3rd and 4. Looking for a diving Josh Huff.
Well, this is one of the things that they faced all season long. Is just it's difficult to get over the top. It's a nice route by Josh Huff. You can see him turn Shockey Brown around. But you've got that other safety help coming over the top. You're not able to get it really out into the middle of the field to let Josh Huff run under it. They're not going to let you get over the top this season.
Ruben Randall back deep. Calls for the fair catch at the 20-yard line. 2:47 remaining, 3rd quarter. Week 17 continues later today on CBS and on Fox. Then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. On this Week 17, we thank our entire crew, the men and women that have been with us throughout the season, setting up at the stadium on Fridays and Saturdays away from their families. On the weekend, John Warner and Win Bernfeld with us in the booth once again. What a great job they do.
Yeah, and a couple of situations this year where late setups due to high school championships or college football games, putting in long hours through Saturday night and then back here again early Sunday morning. We thank you so much for everything you've done.
On first down, catch is made by Andre Williams, and he picks up 5.
You know, talking about the crew, you know, people think that we have the hard job. They have the tough job. Stripping down and moving from place to place and not knowing where we're going to be this week and away from their families for Christmas. And my hat goes off to you, everybody on our crew.
That's right, and we did not know until Tuesday due to various ramifications around the league. Second down and 5. Manning fires downfield. Beckham cannot make the catch. Terrific attempt with Malcolm Jenkins on the coverage.
Well, what a great addition Malcolm Jenkins has been to the secondary of the Eagles, and he's going to come out of the slot. Odell Beckham working against Brandon Boykin, and he's got everybody beat right there. But watch the hands at the last second by Malcolm Jenkins. Great job of reading the eyes from behind. You know it's coming in because Odell Beckham is adjusting. You get your hand up and impact that catch.
How about the confidence that Eli Manning has with Beckham getting it downfield, knowing that if he doesn't get it, he's going to get it out of the defender's hand and not get that turnover. A completely different team this latter part of the season.
3rd down and 5. Manning had some room to run. Instead, he finds Larry Donnell for a Giants first down as we head for a game break with Joel.
All right, guys, it's getting crazy in the AFC. Case Keenum to Andre Johnson from 8 yards out. Gives the Texans a 21-17 lead. San Diego down to Kansas City. Baltimore down to Cleveland. Houston would go to the AFC playoffs if that all stands. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
All right, thanks, Joel. Crazy Sunday in the AFC. New set of downs for the Giants.
180, my son.
From the 35, it's Williams. And Goose talked about this Giants offense and what they've been able to do in recent weeks under Ben McAdoo, who spent 8 years in Green Bay, 10 seasons in all with Mike McCarthy. And Bill Davis, the Eagles defensive coordinator, who worked with Ben McAdoo for one season in San Francisco, he said that watching the Giants, they're basically using the Green Bay Packers playbook.
Yeah, and he said the challenge is it's like Eli Manning has that playbook. We've seen Ben McAdoo on the side with his charts. It's like Eli Manning has that on the center's back because he's changing and going to different plays at the line of scrimmage.
Manning puts one up for Beckham. And it is ruled an incomplete pass by the first official. He was out of bounds. Did not come down in bounds with it.
Let's take a look at this because it sure looks like he elevates. He's on the outside. He's going to have the catch. It's going to be about the feet. There's the elevation. 1 foot down. Hard to see from that angle if that second foot got down and the ball is out. He doesn't complete the process of the catch anyway, so. Right, Jalen Watkins does a great job of continuing to battle for that football to prevent Odell Beckham Jr. from going to the ground and continuing the process.
Ball came loose at the end of the play. Now 3rd down and 10. And now Tom Coughlin running down the field. Play clock wound all the way down.
Play of the game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Coughlin says that he called timeout in time as he was sprinting down the sideline. You could read his lips. He said I called timeout. The question is, when did the officials see or hear?
Game, the quarterback called timeout.
All right, so the timeout has been granted. No penalty. Timeout has been granted to the Giants.
Tom Coughlin's blood pressure went back down, guys. It was up really high, it spiked, but then it went back down.
The funny thing is, in this league, you know, we talk about the older coaches, and we've got Pete Carroll and Tom Coughlin, and when you see them working the sidelines, you would never know that they're the 2 oldest coaches in the NFL.
Not at all. They play with it. They coach with emotion. Like players play with emotion, they coach with emotion.
Coughlin, the oldest head coach to win a Super Bowl at the age of 65, following the 2011 season. Giants finished 9-7 that year. Eagles could finish 10-6 this year, missed the playoffs. Giants won a Super Bowl at 9-7.
Don't start lobbying for your different sets of rules in the playoffs, Kenny.
Cut it out, Kenny.
No lobbying for me. It's only happened twice, right? Team under 500 into the playoffs. Atlanta and Carolina this year. Manning swings it out to Jennings. And Jennings brought down by Malcolm Jenkins. 30 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter with the Eagles leading by 5, and the Giants will send out the punting unit. Weatherford had a punt block for the first time in his career earlier. Eagles becoming the first team, guys, to score 3 touchdowns on punt blocks in one season since the '87 Rams. Weatherford punting from his 30. Played at the 22 by Sproles. And Sproles with a 13-yard return out to the 35. Saturday, the UFC returns to Fox Sports 1 for UFC 182 prelims, featuring a lightweight bout between Danny Castillo and undefeated Paul Felder, plus other epic bouts. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So Mark Sanchez and the Eagles offense back out. They've had the ball for 15 minutes today, and they lead by 5. Great story Sanchez told us yesterday. When we took the team photo, Chip wanted us to get it done in 3 minutes. They do everything fast.
Everything.
3 minutes to take the team photo, line up, what, 60, 70, 80 guys, including the coaches. And
yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, he gives them the parameters. Okay, I want 8 guys in every row. You guys line up by number. You got 3 minutes. I want it done. I'll be out in 3 minutes to snap the picture. You better be ready.
Focus, click, get back into the meeting room. 3/4 of the books. Eagles by 5. We start the fourth quarter from MetLife Stadium along with producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, associate director Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marmero, our stats crew Dave Corris, Ricky Camps, Matt Banovic, spotter Ben Bulma, Nick Gagliano, right on the field with Goose. Second down and 3 for the Eagles. LaShawn McCoy picks up a first down into Giants territory. So McCoy takes it all the way down to the Giants 36 as he runs for 22.
Watch Josh. Number 11 is going to flash into your screen from the right. Watch him wash everything down. There's your run support there. You've got Riley Cooper forcing Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie to run a bubble, and you got LaShawn McCoy on the edge.
Now Sanchez on 1st and 10 from the 37, swings it out to McCoy, and McCoy has another Eagles first down to the Giants 23, a 14-yard catch and run.
And that's dangerous on the edge.
Yeah, this offense, when you miss a tackle against the Eagles because it's such a spread offense and there's so much space around, the player doesn't continue down the field for 2, 3, 4 yards. He gets an additional 8, 10, 15, 20 yards. Got to be good tacklers when you play the Eagles.
First reception from McCoy today. He's replaced by Chris Polk. 1st and 10, 22-yard line. As Sanchez throws over the top, it's Jordan Matthews to the Giants. 14, gain of 8.
There's such a rhythm to this offense when they hit their stride. As a defender, you must start to get nervous because you can tell right away when they've hit that stride, when they've been found that good rhythm in their series.
Low snap, second down and 2. Chris Polk picks up an Eagles first down. Eagles in the red zone for only the second time today. First time since their second drive of the game. Scored a touchdown on special teams. As that pass intended for Chris Polk with Jameel McClain on the coverage.
Little flare out to Chris Polk. Good timing by Jameel McClain. Arrives there right when the ball does. Thought Chris Polk had him out leveraged. Thought he was going to be able to get up the field for an opportunity for a touchdown.
Second and goal from the 9. Eagles lead the Giants by 5 in the regular season finale. Off the fake to Polk. On the slant, it's Matthews. And Matthews is brought down at the 1, and Sanchez took a hard hit.
I tell you, this is so much to do with the football. Watch, you got a fake to Chris Polk coming across this way, handle the high snap, then get up. You've got defenders bearing down on you and get that pass through.
Polk walks it in for an Eagles touchdown.
I'll tell you what, when that rhythm comes, we talked about it earlier, Kenny and Moose, I mean, when they are moving, they are moving. Look at this hole right up the middle of this defense. This offensive line gets nice push. I mean, I think that maybe Kenny could have scored in that one.
Not sure, you might have won some money on that one, Goose. 4th touchdown of the season for Polk, the all-time leading rusher at the University of Washington. Parkey with the extra point, so the Eagles extend to a 12-point lead over the Giants early. 4th quarter.
On Fox is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new way to Taco Bell is here, only in the app. By State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Freedom Tower in Lower Manhattan on this final Sunday in December. 8 plays, 65 yards. Boy, 36 yards on the drive. Chris Polk with the Philadelphia touchdown.
It's so amazing what the success of LaShawn McCoy early in those drives has done. That's when this offense has really come out and established that rhythm. It just moved at will down the field for touchdowns.
Preston Parker. Parker out to the 20. Eli Manning, 334 yards through the first 3 quarters. Both Ruben Randall and Odell Beckham Jr. have gone over 100. for the second straight game. Randall 158, Beckham 10 catches, 118 yards.
Yeah, but the one element that's missing from last week, the rushing yards. Philadelphia's done a nice job with their front, only 71 rushing yards for the Giants up until this point. So that D-line, again, playing well for the Eagles.
Beckham in motion, 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Giants trail by 12. Off the fake to Williams. Manning with loads of time, and it's behind Randall.
Well, they had Odell Beckham Jr. set up for a deep shot down the field, covered well, so Ruben Randall becomes your next guy. And just he's got the underneath control route, but here's where they wanted to go. Watch the move on Malcolm Jenkins right there. Gets caught up. That's a good recovery by Malcolm Jenkins to make sure that he doesn't get behind him and into that wide open space on the other side of the field.
They went from double coverage to triple coverage on Odell.
45 attempts for Manning today. This is number 46, and it's out of the reach of the tight end, Larry Donnell. What's going on in the AFC playoff picture, Joel Klatt?
We have a new leader, and it's the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Flacco finally getting heated up, guys, to find Torrey Smith, 16 yards. 13-10 Ravens. Kansas City still up on San Diego. Means the Ravens would clinch that 6th seed if this score holds. Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thanks, Joel. Ravens in with a win and a San Diego loss. Chargers trail Kansas City 19-7 in the 4th quarter. Third down and 10 for the Giants. Manning throws, and the catch is made for a first down. There is a flag. Preston Parker takes it out to the 33.
See if there's a hold on number 77, John Jerry.
There has to be.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 22, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Wow, I'm surprised they got away with that one.
Yeah, it came from the side, Judge, so that's not his area on the offensive holding, but it was pretty flagrant, so I thought he might have seen it, but it is actually on Brandon Boykin. And as Eli Manning breaks out and moves to his right, watch number 77 at the top of your screen.
I mean, he's holding on for dear life right there, man. Me and you both picked that one off.
So a new set of downs for the Giants from the 33. Here comes the blitz. And the catch is made by Beckham, his 11th of the day. Odell Beckham Jr. out to the 37. How about the story that Eli Manning told us? Beckham attended the same high school as Eli and Peyton. Newman in New Orleans, as we take another look at the catch. And several years ago, when Beckham was in high school, Eli and Peyton went back during the offseason to throw, and Eli said, we weren't expecting much different than the usual high school receivers that were provided to us to throw to, and then they wound up fighting over Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, we'll stack it up.
It is Beckham Jr. again. He breaks 3 and will take it all the way for a Giants touchdown, just like he did it in high school. When he was out on the field with Eli Manning down in New Orleans, 63 yards.
He must have ran a route like that for Eli and Peyton down in New Orleans there, Kenny. Great route.
He's one of those guys you can play so well against all day. We'll see what happens at the top. Jalen Watkins gets him in coverage. A little stumble at the top right there. Now you got trouble. Now you just got to have a better angle. As Malcolm Jenkins comes over to help out, he's got to be a little bit more balanced in his approach. So a little stumble on the outside and a bad angle, and it's touchdown, Odell Beckham Jr.
There's Brandon Jacobs, the ex-Giant, congratulating Beckham Jr. on the sidelines. His 12th touchdown reception this season. 12 receptions today. That's one shy of the franchise record. Eagles lead the Giants by 5 following the 63-yard touchdown pass, Eli Manning to Odell Beckham Jr. Who now has 12 receptions for 185 yards today. Manning has thrown for 414 yards, his 6th career 400-yard game. The up back, James Casey, who blocked the punt earlier. Casey out to the 26. So both Ruben Randall and Odell Beckham Jr., they were teammates at LSU for a couple of seasons. Randall 158 yards, Beckham Jr. 185. Second straight game they have both gone over 100. It's the second time in Giants history, as Beckham was still winded on the sideline. Second time in Giants history they have had two receivers go for 100 in back-to-back games, but the first time it's been done by the same two.
Yeah, and now Odell Beckham Jr. actually, as he's trying to recover right there, eventually ends up heading in towards the locker room.
Keep our eyes on Odell Beckham Jr. as Sanchez hits Sproles. And Darren Sproles is out to the 34. There is a flag at the end of the play. Antrell Roll with the face mask.
During the course of the game, each team done such a good job of responding.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask defense. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
I mean, the great start by the Giants to open the game is responded right away by the Philadelphia Eagles. You kind of get into that ebb and flow back and forth. And right as Philadelphia begins to kind of put the hammer down and separate a little bit, the Giants with that big touchdown pass to Odell Beckham Jr.
So following the penalty, 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line for the Eagles. Sanchez over the middle. Jack Ertz to the 42, his 4th reception today, 2nd and 1.
Yeah, and credit the Giant linebacking core and their safety players too, because we thought Zach Ertz might have another big day. Maybe not as much as last week's game against Washington.
Good news for Giants fans. Odell Beckham Jr. heads back onto the field. Sanchez going deep for Maclin. Bowman on the coverage for the Giants.
Now Jeremy Maclin got behind Zach Bowman. Just coming off the line, and Zach Bowman's in trouble right away. Jeremy Maclin's going to run by and missed an opportunity there.
Now 3rd down and 1. Eagles send in the former New York Jet, Brad Smith, split wide to the right. As the handoff goes to McCoy, he picks up a 1st down to the Giants' 38. Under 11 minutes to go, 4th quarter. Giants scored on their opening possession. Eagles came back with 2 touchdowns. It was 17-16 Philadelphia at the half. Eagles then blocked a punt. Returned for a touchdown by Trey Burton. Odell Beckham Jr. with a 63-yard touchdown reception moments ago. Catch is made, taken to the 32-yard line by Josh Huff, who played for Chip Kelly at Oregon.
And maybe that's Chip Kelly's response when we talk about complementary football and how all 3 phases work. He's really just about the offense and how do we score, how do we respond, what are we doing there? You know, the other 2 are expected to just do their jobs. You know, defensively go out, stop the other team. You can see what they've been able to do with their special teams this year with the block punts, the returns with Sproles. So, you know, he knows what level he wants them, and he told us, listen, that's old school football. That's an old methodology. He goes, what we're about is as fast as we can, as many plays as we can get off, as many points as we can score. I expect my defense and my special teams to play to a certain level and to do their jobs. And if you start talking about complementary football, sometimes you can use that as an excuse. Well, we didn't do well in this phase of the game because we had bad field position. You know, he said, he goes, we get the ball at the 5, I expect my offense to go 95 yards for a touchdown. If I give up a short field and my defense has to defend a 40-yard field, I expect them to defend a 40-yard field.
Now Mark Sanchez told us Chip is a football junkie. He's wired, he loves it. He's a revolutionary thinker, always searching for something better. It doesn't matter if it's his idea or somebody else's.
The relentless pursuit of competitive advantage. It's a great phrase.
Sanchez pump fake on 1st down. Down he goes, back at the 35-yard line. Marcus Kuhn with his 1st sack of the season.
Coming from the inside, number 78, 2nd one in from the bottom, just continuing to work. Get that lockout, pull that blocker down, and get to your quarterback.
3rd sack for the Giants today, 2nd down at 17. They hand off to Polk. They score the last Eagles touchdown, and Polk is tackled at the 31-yard line by McClain. Third down and 13 upcoming. It's a long drive for the Eagles.
Yeah, and this is a critical snap. Long drive in terms of plays, right on mark for time-wise when you're talking about this Philadelphia Eagles offense.
I meant as far as time. Third down and 13. Eagles with a 5-point lead. They must get to the 18 for a first down. And the play is blown dead against the Giants.
Encroachment, number 39, defense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That's on Shockey Brown, so it will be third down and 8.
Yeah, no reason. I mean, you're all the way out here. I mean, what are you listening to? What are you looking at? I mean, there's no reason why. It's like an offensive player having a false start out there. Your eyes should be on the football. You shouldn't be listening to anything when you're spread from the formation.
This will be the 30th third down play today combined. And Matthews will be stopped short. But the Eagles in field goal range. Jordan Matthews over 100 yards for the third time this season.
Jameel McClain has had a nice game this afternoon. This is a big tackle right here to get Jordan Matthews down in that situation, because there's an opportunity here where if they could have got close, potentially to think about going for it on fourth down, as aggressive as Chip Kelly is.
So Parkey out to attempt a 39-yard field goal. Longest Eagles drive today time-wise, 3 minutes, 17 seconds. And Parkey's kick is good, so Philadelphia extends their lead to 8. Still a one-possession game here at MetLife Stadium.
This game is sponsored by the new Samsung Galaxy Note 4. The next big thing is here.
10-play, 53-yard drive for the Eagles. Cody Parkey has set an NFL rookie record for points in one season. Also an Eagles franchise record, surpassing David Akers. 144 points for Akers back in 2008.
Well, Giants trail by 8 right now, but some missed opportunities. The interception here by Stevie Brown nullified by pass interference on Shockey Brown. The block punt turned James Casey loose up inside. And the scoop and score by Trey Burton. The Eagles special teams with their third block punt touchdown of the season. And then you still hang in there, you bounce back. There's Ruben Randall for the touchdown strike, but Eli Manning, oh no, a holding call, really? So, some missed opportunities out there for Tom Coughlin and his group. But they're still just 8 points away, 1 touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
Well, the Giants start from the 20-yard line. It's Andre Williams up the middle.
And I wonder, if Jordan Matthews had gotten close in that last possession, does Chip Kelly really think about going for it on fourth down? Because now all of a sudden you take away the potential to just be a one-possession game with an 8-point lead with that field goal and really create some separation late in the fourth quarter here.
I don't know, the way this Giants offense is firing off, I think he's better off kicking that field goal, Moose. Might have second-guessed himself.
2nd down and 6. And he checks it down to Williams, and Andre Williams has a Giants first down out to the 39 on attempt number 50 by Eli Manning today. He's 27 of 50. His career high in the regular season, 53 pass attempts. Attempted 58 in a postseason game against San Francisco. Beckham Jr. has not returned to the field. Kevin Ogletree split wide to the right. On first down, it's Rashawn Jennings bottled up. Fletcher Cox yet again.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. If I got Trent Cole and Fletcher Cox to the left side, I'm going to audible that to the right side. And there's the numbers that you talked about with Eli Manning. And that's been the missing element today. Andre Williams, the leading rusher, with just 43 yards on 15 attempts. It was effective last week against St. Louis. They needed that again today. That's why you're skewed up in the 50s on your pass attempts, because they just haven't been able to establish any run.
Third highest yardage total of his career to this point. Boykin able to get the hand in on Parker.
Yeah, you know, when I talked to Coach Coughlin at halftime and he told us that he wanted to get the run going, I mean, that was something he really stressed. He said we need to get that run going here in the second half. It's going to help our passing game. It'll help us all together to be able to control the clock, and that's something, like you mentioned, Moose, just didn't happen.
Now Beckham Jr. back on the field on third down. Split wide to the right, matched up with Cary Williams. 12 receptions for Beckham Jr. for 185 yards. Giants without Larry Donnell, ankle injury. Manning on third down, checks it down, and Jennings is tackled at the 39-yard line by Kendricks. So the Giants now facing a fourth down, and they send out the punting unit.
Well, credit this to the Philadelphia Eagles front, because the pocket is starting to collapse, and Eli Manning has really no option but to get it out quick to Rashad Jennings, and good tight coverage by Michael Kendricks in that situation.
So Weatherford back deep. Had his first career punt blocked in the third quarter in 672 attempts by James Casey. It was returned for a touchdown by Trey Burton. That gave the Eagles an 8-point lead. Giants have been chasing ever since. Fair catch called for by Sproles with just over 5 minutes to play. 8-point Philadelphia lead. Eagles lead by 8, 5:19 remaining.
Yeah, and with a one-possession game, you know, this is one of those specialty areas in the NFL. It's referred to, you're getting close to that 4-minute offense, which means you want to come out as an offense and take as much time as possible off the clock to prevent the opposition from having an opportunity to get it down and tie this game. And we'll see the methodology of Chip Kelly right here, if he changes at all or if he just continues to play the up-tempo style, which is just a part of his offense.
Sanchez in trouble. Down he goes. The fourth sack for the Giants. Cullen Jenkins, the ex-Eagle, along with Jason Pierre-Paul.
I tell you what, Mark Sanchez does a good job of right here, not taking the sack, but the fact that this ball is in one hand as he's going to the ground. There's a potential for a disastrous play and some good strength to get that ball pulled back into his body and not have a critical turnover at that point.
I'm thinking the same thing. Moose behind him 10 yards away. I'm really surprised he held on to that ball.
Second sack for Jason Pierre-Paul today. 12 and a half on the season as Sanchez hands it off to McCoy. He was nearly tackled by Jenkins back at the 2. Able to take it out to the 8-yard line, and McCoy remains down, holding on to his left knee.
And you're just hoping for the best right now. That this is hopefully just cramps. Let's see what happens at the end on this cut.
We'll be back. LaShawn McCoy, 98 yards on the ground today, injured on the previous play. Walking off the field under his own power.
Yeah, a little twist at the end of this run. Great to see LaShawn McCoy walking off the field. We didn't feel good about it right there. And we were very, very relieved to see him up and then walking off the field.
Well, it's just strange to see the Philadelphia Eagles in a huddle, taking their time coming out. So it looks like they slowed it down a little bit, Moose. Trying to eat that clock. There's still 14 seconds left on the play clock, though.
Third down, it is Polk. And Chris Polk is stopped about a yard shy. Found a hole. Quentin Demps, the ex-Eagle, able to bring him down, and now the Giants use a timeout.
Well, this is a good job by Quentin Demps, because Chris Polk is a very physical runner. I really thought he was going to get the first down in the situation right there.
Big tackle by Demps. Polk stopped a yard short. So now the Eagles will punt it away with 3:53 remaining. Philadelphia leading by 8.
And again, really in that series, tough to judge exactly what Philadelphia was thinking about on that drive because you had the big negative play on 1st and 10 that kind of got you all out of sorts in that situation, trying to get back to convert for the first down.
Jones punting from his 15. Angled towards the sideline. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Giants from their 31. Eagles led by 1 at the half. And then early in the 3rd quarter, the block punt. First time in Weatherford's career. Casey the block. Burton scoops it up. And then following a Giants field goal, Chris Polk takes it in from 1 yard out, and then Manning to Beckham Jr. 63 yards for a Giants touchdown. And now the Giants, after another Philadelphia field goal, with 3:45 remaining, trailing by 8. 3 receivers set on 1st down. Eli Manning has thrown for 429 yards today. Inside handoff to Rashad Jennings. And he's tackled by Michael Kendricks after a gain of 4. As we thank some of the other folks who have been with us all season long, our technical producer Sid Drexler, technical director Chris Castro, Paul Ferguson, Hans Jurgens, Tim Dunn, Tim Denmark, David Hockmeyer, Mike Bertus, Mike Smoley, Kevin Caesar, Alan Andrasic, Matt Tan, Blair Kresge, Mark Loffer, Brian Unverzat, Dan Conair, and Ron McGuggins. Best in the business.
Absolutely. The skinny Brian Unverzat.
Yes. Tremendous job by our entire crew all season long through 17 weeks. Randall, the intended receiver, and is picked off by Nate Allen. First Giants turnover today. Allen still going. He's inside the 25, the 20. So a huge pick late in the 4th quarter. First turnover by the Giants offense in the last 3 games.
Well, we've talked about some missed opportunities by the Philadelphia Eagles to take the ball away. Let's keep your eyes on Nate Allen right here. Obviously, we're trying to get the ball up the seam. And this is just a bad decision by Eli Manning. If he's going to go to that side of the field with Nate Allen in that position, he's got to get it up a little bit higher, put a little bit more loft, and allow Ruben Randall to kind of run under that. Tries to fit it in, but Nate Allen bailed a little bit on it.
Fourth pick of the season for Allen. 10th of his career. So with 2:51 remaining. Eagles take over at the Giants 18. It's Polk with McCoy on the sidelines. So Eli Manning, we mentioned earlier, had thrown only 2 interceptions over the last 5 games. Picked off late in the 4th quarter with the Giants trailing by 8.
Well, we've talked about his improvement this year with his quarterback rating, completion percentage, number of completions. A lot of those career highs coming into the game or added to during the game, but one of the biggest ones was interceptions. You take away that San Francisco game where he had 5, and he's had a really nice season with protecting the football in the passing game.
Here's Polk again. We hit the 2-minute warning here at MetLife Stadium. Huge interception by Nate Allen. Eagles lead by 8. This rivalry dates back to 1933. Chip Kelly's only been involved for 2 years. Tom Coughlin for the last 11 as Giants head coach. Over 900 yards of offense today as Chris Polk picks up a first down for the Eagles, and the Giants, well, their final timeout. A look at key early games. The Baltimore Ravens have clinched a playoff spot by virtue of their win over Cleveland and the Chargers' loss to Kansas City. So the Ravens are in. 3 teams make it from the AFC North.
All you need is a ticket, Kenny. Never know what could happen, right?
That's right. And a Baltimore team in the news 56 years ago today. At Yankee Stadium, it's known as the greatest game ever played. Baltimore Colts over the Giants in overtime, 23-17 on this date in 1958, as Johnny Unitas threw for 349 yards, and 56 years later, it's the Ravens who clinch a spot in the postseason. Giants are out of timeouts as Sanchez takes a knee. Mark Sanchez, in his return to MetLife Stadium, he won 14 games as a starter with the Jets. Only Eli Manning has more wins in this stadium as a starting quarterback.
He just seems like a different guy when we sat down and talked to him yesterday. And I think being around Chip Kelly, an offensive-minded head coach, he talked to us about how when he was with the Jets, every draft after he was taken, a defensive player was taken in the first round. So when you have an offensive-minded head coach, you're gonna add some personnel. I don't think that Mark Sanchez felt he was supported. And any good quarterback will always say, it's not just me, it's the guys around me. And Chip Kelly's going to afford his quarterback options in this offense, whether it's LaShawn McCoy being paired with Darren Sproles this year. You lose Deshaun Jackson, you go out and grab Jordan Matthews, elevate Jeremy Maclin. This offense is going to put playmakers at the quarterback's disposal.
So the Philadelphia Eagles will finish the season at 10-6, but they missed the playoffs. Same record as last year when they won the division,
which is not unusual. Now, we had the discussion. There's been several 10-plus win teams that have missed the playoffs, and we get that big discussion because we're going to have a sub-500 team in the playoffs. The winner of the NFC South is going to be in the playoffs with a sub-500 record, and everybody's like, well, shouldn't Philadelphia? Philadelphia should be there. We're going to have a number of 10-win teams this year that won't get in with the potential as the day unfolds, and it's happened quite a bit since 2002.
Third straight year, a 10-win team has missed the playoffs. Bears in 2012, Cardinals last year. For Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, this is Kenny Albert. We send you to the conclusion of the Cowboys and the Redskins.